Well, I did find out something today that I didn't realize.
What is that?
I have an app on my TV that I did not know I had.
What app is that?
Spotify.
Yes.
I did not know I had that on my TV.
I could have told you that. I got that on my TV. I got so many apps on my TV. The one app I don't have that I would really like to have is Spreaker and Stitcher. Those are two apps I'd really like to have on my TV.
I could probably look those bastards up.
They don't. We did last time.
We did?
They weren't on there. They don't have apps for smart TVs.
Well,
they got apps for your phone, and you got the Spreaker app on your phone. So whenever this gets uploaded to the website, you'll get a notification.
Hey,
okay. It'll say, "Hey, Kitchen Conversations with Bubba Jay and Crash now has a new episode." What I've decided I'm going to do is first, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Kitchen Conversations with
Bubba Jay
and Crash. And we've been gone for a little while. We've been gone the entire NFL season thus far.
It's one of those things, people, just life got in the way.
Life is in the way. Welcome to 2020.
Yeah, right.
But as I was saying before I did the introduction, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is live shows and extended shows behind a paywall.
Okay.
So I'll still put up an hour to an hour and a half episode that's all edited, but when we start doing the live shows, we're going to do the live show live, but it will stay on the Aztec Multimedia Live page.
Does that mean I got to start doing traffic and weather reports for Mooresville?
Not yet. No. Well, you'll never have to do it for Mooresville. You know, it just depends on how we go, what we're going to do, because like I've said a million times, I really want to have this feel like a morning show or a news show. But
I would love that.
But we'll throw in music once I get the money and I set up the access through the service. I'm going to have a full-time radio station on the website. So when you come to the website, the radio station will start playing, and whatever's going on at that particular time live in real time.
Now, that would be cool as
shit.
We'll
be there. So if you come to the website and we happen to be doing our show live,
that's what you're going to hear.
Yeah, you'll hear.
That would be cool as shit.
And I will have a schedule set up for the Aztec Multimedia Live when specific shows go live that are part of Aztec Multimedia, that aren't just part of the radio show, that for all the different podcasts specifically. And I'll keep all the live versions behind the paywall, which will have extended interviews when we start getting interviews in. You want to get Rush Limbaugh?
I do want to get Rush.
I'd love to get Rush Limbaugh. You know who I would really, really, really like to get on this show? I would love to get small-time creators who do the same type of thing we do, who talk about sports, who talk about music, who talk about whatever, you know, and help us promote, because that's what Aztec Multimedia's primary goal is. Our primary goal about Aztec Multimedia right now is to find new and upcoming content creators, whether they're podcasters, YouTubers, videographers, bloggers, writers, whatever, promote them and hopefully get them off of us and onto a bigger platform so that they can get more fame.
Well, there is one very famous person that I would love. We have the third microphone set up. I would love for him to be sitting in that chair right now, because I probably got a million questions I want to ask him, and that is Garth Brooks.
Oh, God, I would love to have Garth Brooks on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to have Garth Brooks on. That would be super fucking cool, man. I mean, really, it's just to have, you know, Garth, Reba.
Oh.
Okay. What the hell's his
name? You said
you would Reba. You wouldn't get 3 words. You wouldn't get 3 coherent words out if Reba walked in this fucking house.
No, you'd have to pick up my tongue off the floor.
I'm not going to lie. I want to build. I've actually started laying it out, and I'm researching how to build floor plans and whatnot, and I'm laying it out how I want to build my house.
Right.
And I do have an entire section of the house that is business oriented, which it's going to have 3 studios. It's going to have an office studio, kind of like, have you seen Pat McAfee's show?
No, I haven't actually seen it.
But you've seen clips from it where he sits behind a desk and he's got his bud sitting around the room.
Okay, yeah.
And then have somebody have an engineering booth where all 3 different studios are run. One studio is that type thing. Another studio is a round table, stereotypical group setting where we're all in a very organized, one guy sit at the head of the table and three guys down each side, or three people down each side, not just dudes, chicks, whatever. And then one studio that has a small band set up.
Oh, okay.
So we could have
kind of like a David Letterman set up.
Yeah, but it's an actual studio. So if we wanted to have somebody in to have like we've been talking how we wanted to get Froth and all your friends from high school on and talk to them and, have a little bit of live music.
Absolutely.
That's what it would be. Is, I or whoever would be conducting the interview would be in the engineering booth asking the questions and doing all the work, while you guys are in the studio answering questions and then playing the music live. But it would be quality sound music because it's in an actual studio that is, relatively soundproofed. So it's going to be high quality inputs and music and that type of thing. But again, that's down the road a ways. I mean, I priced out the studio setup, and if I bought everything from the same company that I got the audio interface from, my studio is like $240,000.
Wow. That's almost as much as my condo.
Now, that's just the equipment. That is a mixer with 32 inlines.
All right. 16
of them microphone inlines.
All right.
And another 8 for instruments.
All right.
Plus the microphones, the cables, computers that would be used to do it, because it's how I have it. It's how I envision the whole thing.
All right, Gene Roddenberry.
Engage. That's just what I see eventually happening with this, and the whole business primarily run out of my house, or out of the house.
So, well, with all the technical stuff being said, since it's been like 3 or 4 weeks since we've been on the air, what the hell you been up to?
Declining in bowling. I was bowling really, really well when we started the season, and now I'm throwing the ball like shit again. So, I don't know, maybe I was just bowling too much and developing really, really bad habits and not focusing on the good things. But other than that, we are, the General and I are constantly talking about how we're continuing to improve the website.
Right.
And still working on that. I'm actually trying to get partners and or sponsors to go along with us to help make things a little bit easier on the, from a
Anheuser-Busch?
No. I want to reach out to Behringer. I want to reach out to Asus. I want to reach out to a couple of other places. A friend of mine has a small business here locally that I want to reach out to, and I've mentioned it before on the air, so I might as well do it now. Who's Your Warrior Coffee? I would love to get a partnership with them where I advertise. We put a link to them on the website. When you click it, we both get paid. When you click on it, if you buy something, we both get paid. Both companies get paid. Working on that. We don't do enough to get Anheuser-Busch yet.
Are you kidding me?
Actually,
I might as well be a stockholder.
We don't do enough business to have them sponsor us. No, like I said, I got all kinds of plans. There's things that I've been working on. Really, everything I've been focusing on is just trying to get this going the way that it should be going. I'm hoping to get it rolling the way I want to. Making connections, talking to people, just trying to get it up and running and start making some money off of what I've just dedicated almost 2 years of my life to.
And I think we do have a good thing going here because we're not affiliated, we're not sponsored. We just say what's on our minds.
Oh yeah,
which is the whole point of this anyway.
Yeah, it's what we started out as, and it's the brand that I kind of want to keep going forward with this show. But again, I'm trying to build a business around what we do here, around the content creation.
Right.
So I'm trying to find new creators to put on the site. I'm trying to find or to associate with Aztec Multimedia.
I have still had people ask us, okay, the name of our show is Kitchen Conversations, and I have had multiple people ask me, What do? Sit around the kitchen table and talk about cooking? No. I mean, we can. Do we really want to put a cooking segment on the show?
If GJ would be here more often, or we had somebody who cooked on a regular basis,
Right.
then absolutely. I would love that. I'm an eater. I would love for somebody to cook. But honestly, if Aztec Multimedia starts doing a cooking show, it will be a YouTube thing. It'll be a video we build.
Oh, well, hell yeah, it'd have to be. That way you can actually see what the cook is doing.
That's
like, we're ever going to get my wife on camera, she doesn't have to know that she's on camera.
Correct.
Yeah, just don't let her know that I said that. That's called voyeurism.
As I put it on the website, and this will also be the introduction to it, on whatever platform you're listening to us on, whether it be Apple or Google Podcasts, whether it's iHeart, whether it's Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, whatever. For Jay and Crash, some of the best conversations they have started in their kitchen. Some informative, some entertaining, some bringing a dose of reality. So why not share them with the world? And that's what we decided to do. Actually, it's what I decided to do and just dragged his ass along with it.
Yes, and we are currently sitting in my kitchen. That's where we come to you every time we're on here. It's my kitchen.
And we need to start being more consistent. We really do. That's the best way to get found, to get it, is to make sure that whatever your schedule is, that you keep it. And, I mean, granted, with COVID this year, it wrecked everything. And
let's just put it this way, 2020's been fucked up.
Yeah, and we had started being more consistent at the beginning of the year, and then COVID wrecked everything, and personal lives get wrenches that are full of huge fucking monkeys. Do you know how racist the term monkey wrench is?
I never thought about it.
Do you know why it's called a monkey wrench to begin with?
Actually, no, I do not.
It was invented by a black man.
Okay.
In like 1840 or 1860.
And it was one of the best inventions ever made.
Yes. But because it was invented by a quote-unquote monkey, they started calling it a monkey wrench.
Well, whoever the hell invented it, good job, because I've got like 4 of them.
He also, the same guy, also was a world heavyweight boxing champ in like 1880, 1860, 1870, 1880, and he knocked out 8 people in one day to get the belt. Yeah, full of useless knowledge. But anyway, but no, I mean, the term monkey wrench is extremely racist.
That is shit that is only used on Jeopardy.
You keep saying I need to go on Jeopardy. I can't tell you the guy's name. I haven't looked it up. It was just a random thing that came to mind just now. When we were talking about, monkey wrenches in plans. Monkeys and wrenches in plans.
Well, this is obviously, it is Wednesday, October 7th. Don't know where you're at in the real world, but it is a beautiful day in central Indiana. And
yes, it is.
Normally, it's Wednesday. We talk about bowling. There's not a whole lot to talk about because neither one of us bowled yesterday.
No, but previously, seeing as how we have missed the entire season just about, because we're 5 weeks into the season, we've missed 3 or 4 weeks of recording. You've actually been bowling really well this year.
Thank you.
Up to this point. Now, granted, you've only bowled half the weeks. The first week you were in Florida, and then this week you were sick. He's got coronavirus!
Yeah, whatever. I had a head cold, and my wife got me some medicine, and I slept it off on the couch last night. I feel great today.
Yeah, he slept it off on the couch because his wife told him to.
No, actually, I volunteered to do that because my wife works with children. That's exactly why I did it.
Why do most men sleep on the couch when they're married? Because their wife kicked them out of bed. That was a joke, dude. Come on, get with the gram that is prode.
Well, unless you were married to my ex-wife and then you slept on the couch for a reason. But that's a story for another time.
That is a big, long.
But anyway, no, I thank you for your compliment. And it came to my attention, first week I was not there. The show throws 10 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
The second week I was there, I throw 11 in a row. The third week, Giraffe was there. He shoots a 300. And the fourth week, which was last week,
he went to front 10 the second game also, or front 9.
Yeah, because he ended up shooting 287. And so we're just wondering, when the hell is Scooter going to show up?
The Scooter's not going to show up. But anyway, no, what's going to happen, I think this is what's going to happen. Giraffe is going to come in. He has to start over because he messed up last week. But he's going to come in 1 week. He's going to shoot 300 the first game. Come in the next week, shoot 300 the second game. Come in a third week, shoot 300 a third game.
I could see
so he'll
happening.
shoot. So he shoots 900
over 3 weeks.
Over 3 weeks.
and like I said, I appreciate your comment. And yes, I do feel a lot better this year. And yesterday morning, the way I was feeling, I picked up a bowling ball before I even thought about leaving the house. I picked one up, and it felt like it weighed 50 pounds. And I'm like, I've got a 208 average right now. If I was to go up there yesterday, I would have probably screwed that up.
Yeah, you probably would have. You would have jacked off that 208. But, hell, I had 3 leagues. I'm bowling 3 leagues this year. Tuesday morning, where I am the 5th man on the team who bowls almost every week. Wednesday night, where I'm covering for Marine, who fell off a ladder and fell 20 feet onto his hand and still has 14 pins in the son of a bitchin' thing. And then on Thursday, where they basically told me that I didn't have a choice. For the first 2 weeks of each of the leagues, I was averaging over 200. I was averaging 202 on Tuesday morning. I was averaging 214 on Thursday night and 226 on Wednesday. I'm now down to 180 in all my leagues in 2 or 3 weeks.
The thing that aggravated me the most yesterday, when I didn't feel 100%, is because we were bowling against Fluffy.
Mm-hmm. Which is the only reason Giraffe showed up. When he realized...
He actually took the day off.
He found somebody to cover so he could come in and bowl against Fluffy.
Sure did.
Which I just like, God, what a fucking troll. I love it.
And I really, really wanted to be there. I just did not have the energy to do it.
In today's world, in the world we live in today, with the Rona and all the shit that's going around with that was probably a very wise decision.
According to my teammates, they said, if you're not feeling it, stay home.
Well, I'm fairly certain you didn't have the beer bug, the optics that you were sick and out. If somebody had shown up from the Department of Health, would have had red flags all over the place.
Probably.
Personally, I think it's fucking retarded that the government is telling businesses what they can and cannot do. I think there's a lot of issues I have with what's going on right now. Especially in the bowling world, if you actually head over to the Aztec Multimedia website, on the Kitchen Conversation Companion blog, you can see an article called "Why Your Mask Policy Sucks." Read that, and you will get an idea as to why I am really fucking tired of these masks at the bowling alley. I mean, now, for the most part, I don't have an issue with wearing them if I'm walking through the center. From my lane up to the counter, to the cafe, to the bathroom, or just down the lanes to talk to somebody else, or into the pro shop, whatever. I don't have a problem with wearing it when I'm doing that. But when I'm sitting in the bowlers area, with my team, why? Now, on Tuesday morning, it's a little bit different. I would say at least a third of that league is in a high risk bracket. They're all over 70s and they all have health issues. So they would be in high risk brackets. I would very much be willing to wear around them. I don't have a problem with it. I don't want anybody else to get sick. But on Thursday night, 2/3, if not 3/4 of that league are middle-aged men between 25 and 55. Okay. Most of us are fairly healthy. The issue's not there. Last week on Thursday night, we bowled against a bunch of old guys. I wore my mask. I also wasn't sitting in the bowlers area. I was sitting on the counters behind the bowlers area because I was
working. On your night leagues, are they buffering the lanes like they do on Tuesday?
On Thursday night, yes.
Okay.
On Wednesday night, no. And I don't know if that's because it's a late league, that they're not worried about getting hammered for being compressed or whatever. I think it's stupid. I think that is stupid also.
Absolutely, I kind of like it, and I'll tell you why. I like the idea, because you know how I am with lane courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
When they've got us buffered,
you don't have to worry about it.
Hell no, you just get up and throw your fucking ball, and you're out of there by 11:30, depending on what team you're bowling against.
Yes, and I see that point, but part of what makes bowling fun, for me at least, is the buzz of having everybody there.
Yeah.
Of feeling that pressure.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, that spirit, that competition. I will go to the bowling alley. I won't ever pay for it because I'll walk straight into the pro shop. But I will go to the bowling alley when they have a huge tournament there, like when they have the Hoosier Classic or whatever, which is a huge college tournament, or the Junior Gold tournament, which is Junior Gold. And when Junior Gold comes to town, every bowling center in the city is running full capacity for a week. There is something about being in the center with that many people and the buzz and the feel and everything that goes along with it that just makes it fun. Whether you're sitting on the lanes in bowling or whether you're sitting behind the lanes as a spectator enjoying the sport. Fuck you. If you fight me, it is a sport. So come fight me.
Well, hell, think about it this way. When we used to bowl that Thursday night mixed league that your mother was the secretary of, we'd bowl like shit. Then, instead of going home, what do? We went down and we got a pair of lanes.
We bowl well on the other end.
Well, hell yeah. I shoot 565 on the Thursday night league and go down and get a pair of lanes, shoot fucking 800.
Or better. No, but as far as that's what I like the fact that that I can get up and go and I don't have to worry about, because there are, as I mentioned, that there are so many people in that league who are older. They walk way up on the approach. They walk up very slowly. I can't count the number of times that I'll be up there getting ready to go, and they're not doing anything wrong because, league rule is one lane courtesy.
Right.
So they're not doing anything wrong, but they walk so far up the approach, I catch them out of the corner of my eye.
Yep.
And I have to turn around and walk off. And if you're not a bowler, you don't understand, so it's a sport, so fuck you.
You know how it is when you get a split next to you on either side of you. And people just walk off and wait. And I don't do that.
I don't do that either.
Catching people out of the corner of my eye, for me, is kind of rare because I target the foul line.
You look down. But
yeah.
That's one thing that, since we are 2 or 3 lanes apart from everybody else, that that I don't have an issue with. And so that's fun. But again, it takes a little bit away from the enjoyment of the overall league.
Yeah, because if I want to go talk to my second wife, if I'm on 3 and 4, she's on 15, 16.
Opposite ends of the league. It's not.
Yeah. So I got to walk 40 miles.
I will say this. Last week, not yesterday, but the week before last, the approaches were garbage. Sticky and tacky as hell.
Everybody was talking about that. That's why the show didn't bowl.
Yes. And if I hadn't been subbing and it had been my spot, I would have walked out. And on both Wednesday night and Thursday, I told my team when I got there.
Were they any better on your other leagues?
Yeah, they were better. The reason I think that they were bad Tuesday morning is they had turned on the heaters. They'd turned off the air conditioner. And they had also steamed the carpets the night before. Because when I walked in there...
that's why the dryer was out.
Because I don't know about you, but when I walked in there, I had a hard time breathing for the humidity in the air inside the bowling alley.
I am not a slider anyway, and it was fucking with me.
The guy who works in the pro shop who's bowling in that league, he's a planter. He wears tennis shoes on the approach, and he said it fucked with him. Because he actually had to pull his feet off the approach. He actually had to pull his feet off the approach because the approaches were that tacky.
Wow.
And I think it was partly the humidity, but I also think the carpets are still a little moist, still a little damp.
Yeah.
And there was still soap that you were pulling off the approaches or off the carpets, and you were pulling into the approaches, and then it was getting on the soles of the shoes and making it even harder to try and slide.
I ended up being able to adjust pretty good because I had a fairly decent series. I went 210, 223, 210. It would have been a hell of a lot better than that if it hadn't been for the first and second game in the 10th frame. I opened in both of them.
Yep, that's always fun.
Yeah.
It was a pain in the ass. And Wednesday night was better, and I think it's because I told the show on Tuesday morning, going into the second game, that the approaches were loosening up because they turned on the air conditioning.
And he didn't want to risk it.
And I don't blame him. Yeah. He's I just wanted to put it out there to let him know that in case he wanted to try. And if he didn't want to do it, That's cool. I don't fault him for it. Like I said, I would have walked away if I hadn't been subbing for somebody else.
Well, he does have some knee problems, and when he went out on the lane and fouled in the second frame, I was like,
he's done.
This ain't good.
And again, I don't blame him.
But I got to give him kudos for he went ahead and packed his stuff up. And
but you see, he hung out, though.
He stayed there and watched the rest of us.
Yeah, he hung out, which is what you should do with your team anyway. I think if you have the ability to stay and you're not if you're not bowling for a reason like that, an equipment failure or a conditions issue, you need to stay and at least support your team. I mean, it doesn't matter that the show quit. He averages 296 or some shit. So you got 240 pins out of him every fucking game with no handicap. So it wasn't a big loss for you to take that because again, you were bowling against us and we couldn't do anything. We couldn't put anything together.
We still had to work for it though.
What do you mean you had to work for it? You won the third game by 140.
Well, there again, that was the last week that I was there. I went 210, 223, 210.
Which is about where you should be at least anyway. Now if I could just learn to pick up a spare, because I don't think I picked up one or two spares all week last week.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I shot 420 on Thursday night. I shot 5-teen on Wednesday night and 5-something on Tuesday morning. I was not covering spares at all. That's enough of bowling. I'm tired of talking about bowling. I got to go do that shit here in a minute. Well, a little bit.
All right. Well, let me make a shout out to WKYT Lexington News in Kentucky. Happy birthday, Miss Andrea Walker. She's still a puppy. She didn't want anybody to know it was her birthday today, but everybody on the newscast knew it.
Well, of course, if she's on LinkedIn, it's probably on there. I got messages on LinkedIn from people I haven't talked to in years. Because today happened to be my birthday also.
Yes, it is. And you told me not to mention it, but since you brought it out, happy birthday.
Fuck you. But I got messages on LinkedIn, which I don't use, from people that I know on LinkedIn. So, so I'm fairly certain that it would have been very easy to figure out what her birthday is. That's all I was trying to say with that.
A friend of mine that lives in Virginia, she wanted me to throw a shout out on the air today. So, hello, Jennifer. Hope you're listening.
I'm hoping to have this up tomorrow night. But it'll definitely be up Friday afternoon, if not tomorrow night.
That's what I told Jennifer. I told her she calls herself my girlfriend. And she was actually talking to a friend of hers the other night. It's a boy that's a friend, but they're not boyfriend, girlfriend.
Friend zone!
Well, she was talking to him. She was talking to him for about 30 minutes on the phone. She thought she was talking to me.
Ah.
And she said, who the hell are you talking about? And then he said, you have a boyfriend that lives in Indiana that's married.
Well, it is what it is, fucking dog. What else do we want to talk about?
Well, I'm going home this weekend.
I saw a video of Andy Brashear the other day.
Oh, shit. Governor Jackass.
You do realize that we should just start calling him Governor Penis, because he kind of looks like one.
They're actually talking about, you know how Indiana has had the steps of recovery, like
opening up phases, yeah.
Yeah, 3.0, 4.5, all that shit. Kentucky's thinking about going backwards now, which is actually something I will talk further about off the air because I have talked to my wife about it. There is a new county in Kentucky that is considered a red hot spot for coronavirus.
Which one is that?
That is Round County.
Isn't that where you guys go?
No, we go to Fleming County. We go to Round County to get beer because Fleming County is a dry county. So we might be going to Mason County to get our beer.
Here's my thing. As far as the beer bug goes, as coronavirus goes, a 74-year-old man who is in 2 high-risk groups because of he is considered morbidly obese and he's in his 70s.
Okay.
Was diagnosed with coronavirus less than a week ago, spent 3 days in the hospital, and is already back home, undergoing treatment at home. He's lucky enough that he has that ability.
Take some NyQuil, you'll be all right.
The argument that needs to be made is we are 9 months into this. We've been researching and learning more and more about it. Treatment is good. Hospitalizations are down. There is no more curve. It is a flat fucking line virtually.
I'll go along with that.
In and out, there is a 99.95% recovery rate across the board. And for people who are in high risk groups, it's 99 or 95.9% recovery. I'm not gonna deny that losing somebody to this is horrible. Literally, 99% of the people who have died as a result of coronavirus had comorbidities and were not long for the world anyway. And I know that sounds harsh, but it is a fact of the world.
Well, didn't most of them that die had other conditions?
Comorbidities.
Okay. I didn't understand that fancy college word.
They have other health issues that were killing them in the process. And we're in the process of killing them anyways. And coronavirus came along and said, yeah, we're just going to do it now. So why are we in New York? Fucking New York. I say we go to New York City and just shoot Cuomo and fucking Blasio in the faces with high-powered rifles at very close range. Like shotguns.
I did not hear that comment.
I'm going to say it again. Because these motherfuckers, yeah, I'm getting all riled up now.
Oh, shit.
These motherfuckers. First of all, Cuomo's lying, saying he never put coronavirus patients in nursing homes with old people who were dying, who were sick anyway, just making them more sick and killing off a bunch of people. He's denying he did that when it's all over the fucking place and documented on multiple occasions that he did. Okay, thousands of people died because of his choices there. De Blasio, who is in the earliest stages of this, said, no, go out, party, go to the bars, do whatever you want. It's perfectly fine. Killed half the people in his fucking city who died because of his choices and his promotion of going out and doing it. Now he is hell-bent on shutting the city down. He is shutting, and he's focusing on the Jewish community.
Oh, I saw that.
And that motherfucker is an anti-Semitic racist and needs to be fucking removed from office.
Yeah, did you see what the Jewish
So does Cuomo.
did?
They burned their masks in the middle of the street.
Yes, they did in the
fucking
middle of the
A-right.
street.
Fucking A-right. Do it again. Make a bigger fucking bonfire this time. Burn the masks. Burn them all. Go to fucking Walmart or whatever bodegas are left because 12,000 businesses in New York City are gone permanently because of this shit. And Bill de Blasio's draconian lockdowns. Fucking douchebag. Killing your fucking city for your fucking own political ends to pop up your fucking your political ideologies that have no fucking bearing in the United fucking States based on our fucking constitutions, on our laws, and on our founding fathers' disseminations of what they were supposed to fucking be in the first fucking place, you fucking nozzle. Anyway. I say...
Who are you calling a twat waffle now?
Bill de fucking Blasio.
Okay.
And his cunt wife.
Hey, I gotta be a smart ass.
I say go to whatever stores are open that are still selling masks, buy them all, walk out in the middle of the street, and burn them all. Across all 5 fucking boroughs, just do it. Destroy all the fucking masks.
Okay.
Walk up to people and say, I'll buy your mask for $10. Give them $10, take their mask, burn it right there in fucking front of them. That's what I say. Burn the mask. Your fucking mask policy sucks, and it doesn't just go for bowling. But,
yes, where are we going now?
Well, I bet you're kind of jizzing in your drawers right about now. The NBA Finals. Tyler Hero versus Anthony Davis.
Yeah, but the Lakers won last night to make the series 3-1.
But you have Tyler Hero and Anthony Davis on the floor at the exact same time.
Yeah, but you got to remember one other. The Heat got him back, and that is Bam Adebayo.
Who the hell is that?
Even my wife knows who Bam Adebayo is. Powerhouse in the middle of the floor for Kentucky. Him and Tyler Hero were teammates.
Okay.
And now they're teammates again in the pros.
It's okay, so you've got 3 Kentucky players in the NBA Finals right now. At least 3, because isn't Rajon Rondo? Doesn't Rajon Rondo play down there somewhere too?
Yeah, he played for Kentucky too.
Yeah. And Rajon Rondo was a fucking shooter at Kentucky. That dude hit every fucking thing. back when he played in Kentucky.
Yeah.
He was huge because he went to the Celtics. Rajon Rondo,
and he did a damn good job with the Celtics too. But then he started getting some age on him.
Yeah, he's what, a 12 or 14 year veteran in the NBA now, something
like that.
He's been out there for a minute, so he's getting some age on him.
And I'm sorry, I am going to say this. Yes, I am a true Kentucky fan. If the Lakers win the NBA Finals, thank you, Anthony Davis, because LeBron James didn't have a fucking thing to do with it.
Well, not if you look at the media. The media, Sports Illustrated and all those other mainstream sports people are going to tell you that LeBron had everything to do with it.
Bullshit.
No, what they'll tell you is LeBron and his identity politics have everything to do with it.
Right.
Because he stood out there and said, Black Lives Matter, vote or die.
The best player for the Lakers in the NBA Finals right now is Anthony Davis.
That's what Outkick is saying. Outkick is a kind of a independent news, sporting news source. They have a YouTube channel and a website. Check them out. Outkick has got some great shit.
You take Anthony Davis off that team, Miami owns this series.
Yeah, because the Lakers haven't blown them out except for one game, right?
First game,
they killed them, but every other game has been a wire run. I mean, they've been close right down to the last couple of minutes. And if I'm not mistaken, in Game 3, the Lakers blew a huge lead in the third quarter to lose that game.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm jizzing in my shorts because their ratings are through the floor. 60 to 70% drop off from the NBA Finals a year ago.
You take Anthony Davis off of the Lakers roster. We're, instead of looking 3-1 Lakers, we're looking 3-1 Miami.
Without Anthony Davis, in all honesty, I think it's entirely possible you're looking at Miami just swept them.
That could be a possibility too.
But
without Anthony Davis, they may not have even made the playoffs.
I was going to say, without Anthony Davis, they may not have been in the bubble at all. Because they lost to the fucking Pacers, and the Pacers got their asses blown out as soon as by Miami, as soon as the playoffs started.
Well, it didn't help the Pacers any that
we lost a couple of guys to injury, and
Bam was also averaging in the Pacers series. Bam was averaging 30 points a fucking game. Averaging 30 points a game. That's hard to fucking beat.
Yes. Like an asshole who averages 150 on a bowling league comes in and shoots 260.
Who the fuck did that?
Guy I bowled against last Thursday night.
No.
The guy I went head to head with last Thursday night. Averaging 100, I think he averaged 168. He goes 249, 263, 258. He carried every fucking thing. Me, I couldn't carry a goddamn thing. And then I couldn't pick up the spare. Part of that, I think, was the fact they were bowling on lane 1 and 2.
I gotta throw this out on our show because 2 weeks ago, no, it was a week ago, because I didn't bowl yesterday, but I bowled the week before. I literally crushed the damn pocket. Left 7-10 split.
No, you almost got that bitch. You had the pin back up on a deck.
Oh, the show was jumping up and down because I got the 10 pin to come out. It came across. It got all the way to the 7 pin and stopped. And the 7 pin went wiggle, wiggle.
But when you got a guy come out in the NBA who is not a typical scorer, who doesn't score big every week, comes out and averages 30 points a game, it's like when the Pacers started in the bubble. They had, I forget what his name was, but there's that one guy who came in and averaged like 38 points for the first 9 games of the fucking in the bubble. It was unreal. And the Pacers were unstoppable. I mean, the Pacers won almost every fucking game the first half of what was left of when the bubble game started. Back to basketball. Since, we haven't really talked about it, there's nothing really been going on. But to get off of bowling more accurately, what's going on with Kentucky in college football? Or have you even been really paying attention?
Actually, Kentucky is 0-2. They their first game, they were ranked 23rd. They went up against number 8 Auburn. They committed 3 turnovers that cost them the game.
I heard they benched Terry Wilson.
No, I have not heard that yet.
I think I read that somewhere. Or maybe they were talking about benching Terry Wilson.
Now,
for their new gun that they got.
Now, this game against Ole Miss this last weekend, there is no reason that the Cats should have lost that game. And they ended up losing it 42-41.
Yeah.
There is no reason the Cats should have lost that game. I understand the game at Auburn, because Auburn was ranked 8th. They were ranked 23rd. They were in Auburn.
It's hard to walk into Auburn and win.
Exactly.
It's hard to walk into that stadium and win for anybody.
But when Ole Miss comes to Kentucky, and we've got Terry Wilson, we've got a strong offensive line, and they were up by 20 and lost the damn lead and lost 42-41.
Well, in the pros, on pro football side, the Dallas Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons both have done that in the last 2 weeks.
Well, let's stay with the NFL for a minute, because
now, mind you, I'm not watching NFL and I'm not reading anything about it really. Whatever comes through on my news feed, I'll look at.
Well, week 1 of the NFL, and everybody that listens to our show knows that we're quote unquote Colts fans. They didn't look ready, but since then, our defense is ranked number 1 in the NFL. When we go to Cleveland this weekend, the defense had better show up, and I think they will.
They won't. Darius Leonard, who is one of the linchpins of the defense, is going to be out. Bobby Okereke is going to be out. They were both injured last week. Darius Bruckner will still be there, which is good. No, in all honesty, I'm going to tell you straight up. I watched a few minutes of the game, flipped through channels not this weekend, but the weekend before last. And the Colts offense is garbage. Their defense, from what I understand and what I've read and what little bit I saw, their defense is tough as fucking nails. What they have against New York, they had what? They intercepted they had 3 or 4 turnovers that they forced and got 2 scores off the defense scored 16 points.
Yeah, they got 2 pick sixes. 2
interception returns for touchdowns and a safety.
Yep. In the last 3 weeks, the Colts defense has allowed 17 points in the last 3 games. 18.
7, maybe it's, I don't know, because I don't remember what they allowed against.
No, it was 7. It was 17, because they allowed a touchdown this past week.
Chicago scored 11.
Okay, all right.
The Jets scored 7.
And Minnesota only scored 3.
So they've allowed 20 points, 21 points in the last 3 weeks.
That is not bad.
No, but you've got 2 linchpins from your defense that are not going to be there this week, and that's going to hurt. You'll have Anthony Walker in there on defense, and he's a solid linebacker. Darius Leonard and Bobby Okereke are the mainstays in that defensive front. And without them there, you're going to have some serious issues getting any pressure on your quarterback and your that underneath coverage. And Cleveland looked good for Cleveland from the few.
Cleveland is undefeated.
I was going to say, the little bit that I got to see this past weekend, or from this past weekend, the highlights, Cleveland looked really good for Cleveland. This is the Cleveland team I think I was hoping to see last year before I got fed up with the NFL.
Right. Yeah.
Which, from what I'm understanding, I may start watching the NFL again. I don't know, because I got away from it because I'm tired of the fact that it's not about the game and it's not about the players. It's not about the sport anymore. They're all just virtue signaling, and it's all about the political ideology and pushing the identity politics and all the political agenda that they're trying to push. I won't support that. I won't watch it.
Well, I know we're going to have a little bit of missing players, but
Anthony Costanzo's going to be out. EJ Speed's out.
But they went to Chicago, and Chicago is 3-0. They were on the road in Soldier Field, and the Colts went up there and took care of business.
Here's the thing. Against the Jets, and I'm going back to the Jets because this is the one. That's the game that really should have shown everybody. The Colts should have scored at least 60 points, especially since you got 16 from your defense. The Colts should have had a 60-point game.
Yeah, I'll go along with that.
but they couldn't keep from fucking themselves over. They got themselves in trouble on 2 or 3 occasions they got themselves in trouble. Their offense doesn't really look that good. I mean, you got the best guard in the fucking NFL in Quentin Nelson, and he is the only person on that line, and Kelly, the center. But Costanzo's slow. Costanzo's getting old. He's still strong. He's still tough, so he's okay. But he's not as fast as he was off the line 2 or 3 years ago. Quentin Nelson is a monster, and he's all over the field. I love Quentin Nelson. You see him everywhere. And the reason I'm focusing on this is I was a lineman when I played football, so I see some of these things. I don't see him as much as other pro linemen like Uche Nwaneri, who played 7 years with the Jacksonville Jaguars and 1 year with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't see what he sees when he starts talking about linemen. But I see some of these things, and I see them when they're getting beaten. I see how they're doing. And honestly, the only reason the Colts have won these if we did not have Phillip Rivers, and mind you, I don't think Phillip Rivers is that great of a quarterback.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
But if they didn't have Phillip Rivers and his nearly 20 years of experience, the Colts would be 0-4 right now.
Well, now there again, it does help. It's not really hard to win a ball game when your defense scores 16 points.
Well, this is true, but when your defense scores 60 points or 16 points against a team like the Jets, your offense should have rolled up and down that field like it was nothing.
I can go along with that.
That should have been a 60-point game. Now, granted, I understand that they pulled the starters and they put in some second stringers late in the game. Okay, that being said, it should have been a 50-point game or a 45-point game. They should have scored at least 15 points a fucking quarter, if not 18 points a quarter.
Yeah, and we've got another late start this week. Anybody that's interested in the Colts game, it's on CBS at 4:25 is the kickoff.
Last week, the only reason it was late is because there was a game that was delayed.
Yep.
And they moved the Colts to...
because the Bears and Colts game was supposed to kick off at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. But they moved it because the delayed game due to coronavirus.
Well, I might be home by the second half.
Might be. In all honesty, I'm over pretty much all sports right now.
Actually, what I want to know is, couldn't get my internet to work this morning.
You couldn't get your internet to work this morning. What's that?
I was wanting to find out because we're in the playoffs for Major League Baseball.
Oh, you mean the Yankees?
And
what's his name? Giancarlo Stanton? Is that his name?
He's had 2 Grand Slams in the playoffs.
He is a fucking monster right now.
And I don't know. I know they won Game 1 against Tampa Bay, but I don't know if they won Game 2.
I think they did.
I have not been able to find that out.
I think they did. The Cubs got swept in the first round of the playoffs. One of the best records in the majors this year they had. And in the National League, I should say. It was really disappointing that they got swept and beat so handily by Miami, I think. I was hoping that they would have another run. They had the best pitching core in the majors. I think they had one of the best pitching cores in the majors for the Cubs this year.
Right.
And honestly, based on some of the things I had heard early on in the season, I'm surprised the Yankees made it because they were struggling early on this season.
Well, they were. But at the same time, you got to think about it. Look at the lineup they've got coming to the plate. If one of them gets hot, it's like they all get hot. I mean, hell, for all intents and purposes, during the Cleveland series, Brett Gardner, of all people, knocked one over the right center field wall. Everybody in the Yankees lineup, you never know which one of them is going to hit the long ball. But at the same time, they live and die by the long ball. I love the Yankees lineup because they're absolutely fucking loaded. But at the same time, if you've got a good pitching staff, as much as I am a baseball fan, good pitching will overcome good batting every single time.
You said that over and over again. It's and you're not the only person I've heard say that.
And so far in the playoffs, it hasn't been working. You could be a Cy Young Award winner. You make a mistake to somebody in the Yankees lineup, it's a souvenir.
Well, based on what you've seen this year, that's basically fact. Early on, the Yankees couldn't buy a win, which is ironic considering George Steinbrenner. But but it looks like that, as the season has progressed, they've become much more.
Well, okay,
much more adapted to their hitting has adapted to the pitching, or the pitching. Just, I don't know, something happened, and I don't know.
Okay, if you're a major league hitter or major league pitcher, think about 2 through 6 in the Yankees lineup. Number 2, you've got Aaron Judge, followed by Aaron Hicks, followed by Giancarlo Stanton, followed by Luke Voigt. You got to try to get through those guys without a ball leaving the yard. And then you got Gary Sanchez batting 9th.
See, I'm not a baseball guy. I don't know baseball that well. But
yeah, if you got Gary Sanchez batting 9th, your fucking lineup is loaded. Because Brett Gardner bats 8th. According to the Yankees lineup, if you look at the A's difference in it, Brett Gardner's older than dirt and can still pop the ball out of the park. But that's where I go, like you said, and you said that you've heard other people say it. You got a lineup loaded like that, you got to wait for a pitcher to. You ain't hitting shit.
See, but it seemed like the Cubs this year, their pitching, they had an amazing pitching crew this year. Just starting lineup.
Actually, with you being a Cubs fan, let me ask you a question. He contributed to the Cubs winning the World Series. So Aroldis Chapman.
I'd be willing to say it had something to do with money. I don't really know.
The dude can throw a 106-mile-an-hour fastball.
Depending on how much they were paying him. See, do you know how salary cap works?
Not 100%, no.
It's not capped at everybody gets to spend the same amount for players. It is, you can only spend so much of your profits. You can only spend so much of how much money you're making on players, on contracts. So you have a team like the Cubs, who, in all honesty, are a small market team. They don't have the money to spend the way that the Yankees do. So the Yankees can spend $100 million on Aaron Judge, $100 million on Giancarlo Stanton, $100 million on Aroldis Chapman. They can spend that kind of money, and I don't know that that's actually what their thing is. I'm just throwing the numbers out there because they're big numbers for a baseball player. But they can spend that every year on those players because they have the money from playoffs coming in. They have Yankee Stadium is always sold out. They have all kinds of TV endorsements. I mean, they're always on television. And that's where every pro sport makes their money is from television. A team like the Cubs, who the only place you see the Cubs is on WGN
or WNDY channel 23 on antenna in Indiana.
Really? I've never seen them on there.
Yeah, they're on there.
But you see what I'm saying? I mean, they don't have the Cubs. Most teams don't have the kind of money that the Dodgers, that the Yankees, that
the Astros.
Well, I don't even think the Astros really get that much money from their endorsements.
Texas Rangers.
But again, I don't know how much they're getting. I don't know how much money they're making. I know that the Dodgers, because the Dodgers and the Yankees, they were the subway battle for 500,000 years in baseball.
Yeah, because the Dodgers used to be
in Brooklyn
Dodgers.
And then they moved to Los Angeles, and then you get the New York Mets.
The New York Giants moved to
San Francisco. Yankees fans are diehard. And New Yorkers, 99% of New Yorkers are Yankees fans, not Mets fans.
And I'm not a New Yorker, and I'm a diehard Yankees fan.
So, it's Yankees have make a lot of money, which means they have a lot more money to spend. Chicago doesn't. Cubs fans are almost like a cult. They're they're on the edge. They're outsiders. Primarily because the Cubs have sucked for the last 116 years.
Well, when they won the World Series a few years back, it was a rivalry between me and my wife. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I was rooting for the Cleveland Indians. My wife, of all people, who doesn't really care to watch baseball on TV, she said, I'm rooting for the Cubs. I said, why? She said, because they haven't won a World Series since, like, before Jesus wore sandals.
1908 or some shit like that.
But anyway. Something like that. She got her wish. The Cubs won the World Series.
Yeah, and so did a lot of other people. I mean, the fact that they made it, because the last time they actually had a shot.
Don't even go there. That was not fan interference.
No, but what happened there completely changed everything about the Cubs. It completely changed all the momentum. I'm not going to say whether it was fan interference or not. What I'm saying is that action that guy took the Cubs out of their game, and they fucked themselves over.
I will go along with that, but I have seen the videotape over and over and over.
I'm not.
When they went to make the catch, he had to put his hand in the stands, and that guy was standing there with his hands. Oh, I'm going to catch a foul ball. Well, when it bounced off his hands, if it's across,
that's not what I'm fighting here. What I'm saying,
they threatened to kill that dude.
Well, yeah, but that's because fans are idiots. But what I'm saying is that completely changed the entire complexion of that game because the Cubs lost it. I'm not talking about whether or not he was.
Wasn't that Moses Alou? Wasn't that who that was that tried to catch that ball?
I don't remember his name.
I mean the Cubs player.
Yeah. No, I know who you're talking about. I'm not that kind of Cubs fan. I'm a closet Cubs fan. I like the Cubs. I root for the Cubs. Last time, because when I started paying attention to baseball, it was Ryan Sandberg, Andre Dawson, Sean Dunston, Mark Grace.
That was a hell of a fucking lineup. And why that team never won a World Series, I'll never know. Because they had an excellent pitching staff.
Mm-hmm. Rick Sutcliffe, Goose Gossage, and Greg Maddux.
Yep.
Who is arguably
one of the best pitchers to ever play the game.
That's not the argument. The argument is he is the second best pitcher to ever play the game behind Nolan Ryan.
All right, I'll give you that.
I would say that there are some ways that he rivals Nolan Ryan. But
why that lineup did not win a World Series, I'll never know.
Neither would I. But that team, that's why I'm a Cubs fan, is because I was a Cubs fan back then. I met Ryan Sandberg, saw interviews with him. I thought he was a great dude, became a fan of him. Mark Grace, I thought there was one year, and it was fucking crazy because he batted like 380 for the season. It's like, and this is when I understood what all that shit meant. 380 batting average is fucking insane.
Yeah.
And didn't he have like 14 or 15 home runs that season too? It was crazy.
It was over the 20 mark.
Andre Dawson, Sean Dunston. It was a great team. A lot of really good people, a lot of fun guys to watch and play. So that's why I'm a Cubs fan. I'm not a Cubs fan in the way that, I know everybody who plays for them like you do the Yankees. I'm a Cubs fan in that I've always been a Cubs fan. When it comes to baseball, that's who I root for.
One of my biggest disappointments, and I hate to say this, I've got memorabilia, I've been a fan, is the Cincinnati Reds.
They haven't done shit since they swept the series back in, 88?
1990. That's when Ricky Henderson played for the Oakland A's. All the sports announcers said, well, if anybody's going to sweep the series, it's going to be the A's in 4 games. Well, guess what? It was the Big Red Machine. Now, the Big Red Machine actually came from the 70s. And that was when you had Joe Morgan at second base, Cesar Cedeno at first base, Dave Concepcion was at shortstop, and Pete Rose was at third base, and your Hall of Fame catcher was Johnny Bench. That was a fucking ball team.
Yes, it was. I mean, all those names there, and none of them are outfielders, which outfielders...
Well, hell, you had Ken Griffey Sr. in the outfield.
I did not realize that Griffey Jr. and Griffey Sr. actually played on the same team for a while.
They did.
I think it was Seattle.
Yes, it was.
That was Ken Griffey Jr.'s first team. That's where he was drafted to.
He did end up with the Reds for a while.
Yes, he did. And still never got a fucking ring for it.
Nope.
I don't know that Ken Griffey Jr. ever got a championship.
I don't think he did.
Which is sad. I mean, he was one of the best hitters of the era. I mean, he rivaled...
He took up where his dad left off.
Yes. He had such beautiful form at the plate. Just couldn't get the team to help propel him. You know, when he played for the Seattle Mariners, he was on the team with Randy Johnson.
Yep.
Who couldn't do anything. Just recently found out Randy Johnson started his career in Indianapolis with the Indians. Surprised the shit out of me when I saw that pop up. But
and oh my God, he was a dominant fucking pitcher when he was with the Yankees.
Well, he was a dominant pitcher everywhere he went. I mean, he's 6 foot infinite, and
he's 6'7".
He to keep the ball in the strike zone, he had to throw the ball in such an angle that it was really hard for a pitcher to pick.
He had a slider that was just downright fucking nasty.
I forget who you said slider. I forget who it was, but I'm sitting there and I'm flipping through channels and the news is on and they're showing, or maybe I was scrolling through Facebook and there was highlights from I don't remember, but there was this knuckleballer who was pitching.
Oh shit!
And it wasn't him. It was a game that just happened here the last few weeks. Oh. The fastest pitch he threw across the plate was 68 mile an hour.
Wow!
They were ahead of him every fucking swing.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Because a knuckleball has no speed on it whatsoever.
No, or rotation.
No. It's just kind of like take a paper towel, wad it up, and throw it at your trash can.
Mm-hmm.
That's a knuckleball. That's how much juice it's got on it.
And there was another guy I saw, and I swear to God, in the last 3 feet before the ball actually crossed the plate, that fucker moved 5 feet left to right. He was a left-hander.
Damn.
And it's going, and it looks like it's heading actually toward the left side batter's box.
Yep.
And that fucker just literally
it just breaks straight to the right.
Yes. It was amazing to watch. Some of these guys, the way they put the way they get the rotation on the ball to get it to break that much is just unfucking real. And they were fast. They were balls that were, in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
In 93, 94, 95 mile an hour. So it's not like he's throwing that kind of break with a relatively low speed ball.
Well, that goes back to Aroldis Chapman. It ain't nothing for him to throw 103 mile an hour fastball. Okay, and then you get his curveball that's at 90. Then you get his slider that is at 97. Who the hell hits a 97 mile an hour slider?
See, again, I'm not a baseball guy, so I can't answer that question. I don't know that I can hardly hit a fucking softball lobbed over a fucking plate in slow pitch. I mean,
you get a 97 mile an hour slider coming at you. It looks like a fastball when it comes out of the pitcher's hand. And you get ready to swing at it, and all of a sudden that sumbitch just breaks down. And he's a left-handed pitcher, so it breaks down and heads to the right. And you just swing over top of the sumbitch.
Mm.
You can't catch up with it.
They showed, I think he had 8 or 9 Ks in that game. Half of them were so far ahead of the fucking ball, it was ridiculous. The other half were just looking. It's like they could see it, but they couldn't catch the speed to swing at it in the right amount of time. So they're sitting there and they're waiting and they wait too long, or they're sitting there and it was amazing to watch that that knuckleballer throwing him so slow it's like I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, want me to stick with the off speed stuff? You got anything else? Nope.
You're thinking of Major League 3 because I was getting ready to refer to that because they had that one guy that was throwing 98, 100 mile an hour fastballs all day long, and
they bring in Doc.
Yep,
and a 60-year-old dude whose fastest pitch was like 40 mile an hour.
I wish that sumbitch would throw me his fastball, and Rube looked at him and said, that was his fastball.
That was great. I love that movie. It wasn't as good as the other two, but it was.
Yeah, it was still okay.
It was still funny.
If you've been playing a game for 9 innings and you're looking at 100 mile an hour heat all day long, and then you bring somebody in that only throws 45 mile an hour, that's going to fuck you up. That's kind of like my mother when it came to bowling. My mother would let go of a bowling ball on Tuesday morning, and it would get to the head pin on Wednesday afternoon.
Sometime on Wednesday afternoon. What else do we want to talk about?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Shit. Everything else I want to talk. Ooh.
Oh, you remember the Jungle Book?
Yeah.
Here we go.
What do you want to do?
Hey, Flaps, what you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
I don't know. What you want to do?
Well, you can fly over to the other side of the island, see what's going on over there.
Oh, that's kind of boring. What you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Hey, wait a minute. First I say, what you want to do? Then you say, I don't know. What you want to do? Let's do something.
Okay, so what you want to do?
Don't start that again.
Anyway,
that was our Disney promo for the week.
Yeah, which will never happen again.
Oh, what the fuck ever!
Oh God, I fucking despise Disney, dude. Did you hear what Disney just did?
Do I want to know?
They just released 28,000 employees.
Oh yeah, between the parks. Yeah, I did hear that.
They just released 28,000 cast. They call them cast members when they work in the parks. They just fired 28,000 people.
Damn it! That means I don't get to go down to Orlando and see Jasmine?
Probably not.
Well, that sucks. Jasmine's my favorite princess.
You know,
I know, you want Ariel.
No, actually, Jasmine was my favorite Belle was my favorite until Frozen. And now I want the sisters.
Oh, want a little threesome action going, do you? I have actually never seen Frozen.
Have you seen the two girls who dress up as Anna and Elsa at the parks, though, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I haven't been there in 19 fucking years.
You don't have to be there. They're all over the fucking internet.
Actually, I got to admit that Jasmine was always my favorite until the live-action version of Beauty and the Beast, and now Emma Watson is my favorite Belle.
Never seen it.
Oh, my God.
I couldn't make it through the opening sequence.
I will put this out there. I don't care. I ain't embarrassed. I have 2 Barbie dolls that my wife and my daughter bought me for my birthday. I have one of Belle in her peasant dress.
And the ball gown.
And they both have Emma Watson's face on them.
Now, I did not like that movie. I could not make it past the opening sequence. And everybody says it's the exact same movie. I mean, it's like line for line, the same as the original movie.
It's pretty damn close.
And I can sit and I can watch the animated movie all day, all night. I could watch it back to back. I can watch it almost as much as I watch Star Wars. I could not make it through the live action. There's not a live action, quote unquote, live action. The reason I say quote unquote is because Jungle Book is not live action. It's all CGI. Fuck you all. If you're going to fight me on it, fight me, bitch. That's what you do. Because Disney fucking sucks.
Well,
I have not been able to make it through a single fucking live action remake.
What about Lion King? Is that CGI?
Yep.
And that's supposed to be live action.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid. I saw that advertised the other day, and I have not seen that yet.
It's not out yet. Well, they did a TV movie version of Little Mermaid, and I don't know how it went off. I have no desire to see it. They're changing the entire story.
Oh shit!
They brought in a little black girl to play Ariel. They're moving it from the Nordic area up in the north to a Caribbean setting.
And okay, it's not that I have anything against black girls in movies or anything, but Ariel is supposed to be a pale, red-headed white girl.
It's called diversity, which is why Disney sucks.
And
because it's the only thing they're worried about. They're worried about filling their diversity quota. They want to put the black faces out there. They want to put the LGBTQ community out there. Instead of making a good product, they're focusing on checking the diversity boxes to make everything look diverse, to make everything look different, instead of it just being old white people or white people in general. Well, you know why? You know why so many of these fairy tales that have been made into movies that Disney does have white people in them? Because they're from traditionally white locations in Northern Europe. You want something that's going to have an all black, going to have a bunch of black faces in it? Find yourself a really good Tale from Africa.
Actually, they did that. You remember the R&B singer Brandy from back in the 80s, 90s, or whatever it was?
She had that show called Moesha for a while.
They did a reproduction of Cinderella where Brandy was Cinderella.
Mm. And again, I don't have a problem with diversity as such. I have a problem with diversity for diversity's sake.
Well, it's like, and don't get me wrong. Anybody that's listening to us, I think me and Crash have different points of view, but I think Will Smith is fucking awesome. I love watching his movies, but I grew up in an era where I was watching the series of Wild Wild West. Mm-hmm. Jim West was not a black man.
See, and
although I did enjoy the movie.
That's where I'm getting at, because they didn't bill the whole movie as we've hired Will Smith, a black man, to play this role. They hired as we've hired Will Smith, a phenomenal actor who's funny and good at action movies, to play the role of Jim West.
Yeah.
Instead of saying we have a black man, we have diversity in this movie, they said we got a dude who's a good actor and who's actually going to make us some money. Which he didn't, because the movie flopped, because the movie itself was fucking garbage.
And see, that's the sad thing of it is because I fucking thought it was hilarious.
I loved it. It was a horrible fucking flick, but I loved it.
That's what it used to do back in the day. You remember when Siskel and Ebert had their show on Sunday morning talking about movies, and they give them thumbs up or thumbs down. Every movie that they did thumbs down, that's the movies I went to go see.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. God, yes. If they were both thumbs up, it's like, yeah, that movie's gonna be garbage. If one was up, one was down, it's like, yeah, we'll wait for that to come out on whatever, because they
two thumbs down, go to the theater.
Spend your fucking money on it because it's going to be fun. It may not be a great movie when it comes to cinematography, pacing, story, world building, all that. What you're going to get is you're going to have yourself a fun time watching a movie that they didn't like.
Do you know they actually gave 2 thumbs down to The Hunt for Red October?
Doesn't surprise me.
That movie is fucking awesome.
No, it's really not.
Oh, I love that movie. Ask my wife.
No. I love the movie. Don't get me wrong. But when you look at it from a cinematography aspect, and you look at it from all the technical aspects of what the movie was, and when you look at it from everything, it's not. I think it's better than the book, but it's not a good movie. It's a great flick. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of pop. It's a very pop culture nail on the head from that era, but it is not a great movie. Lots of fun, great flick, good 2 hours to spend watching something. But maybe I should say it this way: it's not great cinema.
Well, another submarine movie that they gave 2 thumbs down to, and my wife actually likes it, and that's Crimson Tide.
Well, Crimson Tide was garbage.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, God, yes. That movie's fucking horrible. That movie is fucking horrible. But either way, it doesn't matter. Movies nowadays, especially movies coming out of the Disney, out of the House of Mouse, which is including, which is not just the Disney movies themselves, but it's also including Star Wars movies. It's also including the Marvel movies. It's including anything that's coming out of Fox that was a Fox property that they now own. Is not going to focus on telling a good story, on on having good world building to go along with it. It's going to focus on, we got this gay person playing a character. We got this character who is a man in canon, but now we made it a woman. And not just a woman, but a gay woman. We've got this character who was a woman, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make it a trans woman who's also gay. They're worried about checking off all these diversity things so that they don't appear, instead of just making a good fucking story and a good fucking movie that people want to fucking see. Star Wars is done. If they ever do another movie, I will be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did another one.
Disney spent $4 billion with a B, $4 billion to buy Lucasfilm from George Lucas.
Right.
You do realize that with the with the 5 movies that they made, they lost money.
Now, I got to admit, on one of them, I can tell you this. GJ is not a Star Wars fan by any means.
You like Solo. Solo was garbage.
Actually, she liked it because it was action from the beginning to the end.
Solo was garbage.
You didn't think it was that bad, did you?
Solo was garbage. It was not Star Wars. These movies, all 5 of the movies that they made with the Star Wars brand on them, Rogue One was pretty good. Had some low points, but Rogue One was still pretty good. But all 5 of those movies, you strip the Star Wars name off of them and you market them as just a movie in a sci-fi genre, they're probably all a lot of fun and actually still do pretty good. But none of them were Star Wars. There wasn't a one of them were Star Wars. And another problem with Solo, and the biggest problem with Solo, is nobody is Han Solo except Harrison Ford. Fuck Alden Ehrenreich. Okay, I haven't talked geek shit in like months, so it's really, and I haven't gone off on Star Wars in just as long. Oh my God. The Mandalorian, that's actually really, really well done. I hate it because it's not really canon, and they got the Baby Yoda, who it's all about, that's all fucking Disney cuteness factor, which pisses me off because, again, that's not fucking Star Wars. But, no. Solo was garbage. Solo, it was action-packed, and it was a romp from beginning to end. But A, it wasn't Han Solo. B, it wasn't Star Wars. And C, the pacing was garbage. Of course, it had to do with the fact that they were 80% done with everything, and then Kathleen Kennedy comes and said, "No, this sucks. You're fired. Oh, Ron Howard, come in and save us, please, 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 please." And in 2 months, they filmed the entire movie all over again.
Okay, speaking of Ron Howard, I'm going to give a shout-out to him because one of the best movies that Ron Howard ever did was Backdraft.
That was a good flick. That was a great fucking movie. There used to be a show back in the 70s called Emergency.
Loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun, a good show for the era. It doesn't really hold up today from a series aspect. You know, it basically what I was going to get at is I've been waiting for them to reboot the show because that's all they seem to fucking do anymore. And then I realized they already did. It's called Chicago Fire.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is basically just a reboot and a rehash entirely of the show Emergency. And I watched the first 2 seasons of that show, and I haven't seen it since, so I can't speak to what it's doing now. But the first 2 seasons of that show were fucking phenomenal.
Now, going back to Emergency, for the most part, and I'm speaking on an ambulance and a paramedic truck, pretty much what they do on Emergency is damn near 95% accurate.
Yes, yes. You know who he reminded me of? And you know who he looked like when I first met him? Randy Mantooth. Johnny. The way he dressed at the bowling alley, because I met you at the bowling alley. Before we had any type of relation, from wherever. I met him at the bowling alley. The way he walked around, the way he carried himself, he was lean and kind of tall, and the hair he had, and it's like
Randolph Mantooth.
He looked like Randolph Mantooth. One of the things I wanted to talk about that just hit me just before we went off on this last 20-minute tangent, which is fine. I don't mind tangents. Tangents is what
kitchen conversations. That's what we do.
Last Tuesday, which is really why I wanted to do the show last week, and then life fell apart because they're all like, "Fuck you, crash down." Last Tuesday night, we had the first presidential debate. And
that wasn't a presidential debate. That was, you broke my G.I. Joe when we were 4 years old, and I'm still pissed off about it.
Pretty much. Pretty much. And it was a complete and total shit show. Tonight, yes,
Yep.
Wednesday the 7th, is the first vice presidential debate.
Yep.
Between Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence. Maybe next week we'll rehash a little bit about what happened to it, but...
Are you expecting the same outcome tonight?
No. 2 reasons why. I am not the biggest Mike Pence fan. Okay, I thought he was a dick. I never thought he was that great of a governor, I guess. But
that's where you and I agree to disagree, because I always liked him.
But one thing he's practiced in decorum. I don't think you're going to have the same issue with him and Harris that you had with
Trump and
Biden, because if you do, it will be Harris trying to bully Pence.
And I don't see that fucking happening.
Oh, neither do I. Because one of the things that Donald Trump is trying to do again is he's trying to do the same thing to Joe Biden that he did to Hillary Clinton and just not let anything get out. Now, that being said, Chris Wallace, who was the moderator for the first presidential debate, was biased as fuck.
And that surprises you how?
He lobbed softball open-ended questions at Biden and asked very pointed, direct answer questions to Trump. And then whenever they got into a yelling match at each other, he just focused on shutting Trump down. Now, was he right in trying to shut it down? Absolutely. But he didn't address both sides. He didn't address both candidates equally. I don't think you're going to have that kind of an issue tonight because Pence is not that type of guy.
Who's the moderator tonight?
I don't know. You know who needs to moderate these things? Joe fucking Rogan.
I was going to say you.
Oh, God, no. God, no. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't want to do it. But Joe Rogan, he has the most popular #1 podcast in the world.
Let Russ do it.
No, Russ couldn't do it. He's too biased. But Joe Rogan, I mean, he will sit there and he will call and fact check on the fucking spot whenever one of these guys say something. So that's why I think Joe Rogan should do. But so tonight is the vice presidential debate, and it's going to be real interesting to see how that turns out. Next Wednesday night is supposed to be the second of the presidential debates, which the Biden camp is trying to worm their way out of because Trump has had the beer bug.
Oh, well, yeah. He had it because the Democrats gave it to him.
What I find funny is they keep saying that the super spreader event was the Amy Coney Barrett announcement for the Supreme Court. And, you know, when Trump announces, they say, well, there are 7 people who tested positive. What the mainstream media did not tell you is there were 11 people who worked at the Cleveland Center who turned up positive the day before Trump did.
And I don't drink beer every day.
What's that got to do with the price of tea anywhere?
I strongly think that the whole coronavirus shit, you wait till November 3rd. Once the election is over and the new president's announced, it doesn't matter whether it's going to be Trump. It doesn't matter whether it's going to be Biden. If it's Biden, then we know that the coronavirus was a Democratic setup, because if Biden is elected, the coronavirus will mysteriously go away.
No, it won't. Here's what's going to happen. First of all, we're not going to know who was elected until December 20th.
Hey, 3 days before my birthday.
That's when we'll finally find out who it is, because they're going to be counting ballots for as long as they can. I think there's a very strong probability that on election night, Donald Trump will win 48 or 49 states and just dominate the Electoral College.
Okay.
But over the next few weeks, more and more votes will trickle in, and Biden will start getting closer. I can't tell you that Biden's going to win, but it's going to actually change the complexion of the race, and it's going to be a much closer race than what we see on November 3rd. And here's another thing. I don't think there's actually going to be that many people honestly turn out to vote or actually mail their votes in. I don't think you're going to have much in the way of mail-in ballots, relatively. But they're still going to turn up. Then Trump will fight it in court because he will say that there was no security. There's a probability of him being fraudulent. Everything about this election will have to be thrown out. So it'll be fought in court, and it's going to depend on how the local elections go to see what kind of delegations there are in the House to determine who's going to be president. And if the Republicans maintain or gain ground in the House, Donald Trump will be appointed president. If they lose ground at all, the Democrats will take this presidency. But it's not going to be decided by the voters. It's going to be decided in the House.
Well,
I truly believe that.
Well, vote for Bubba Jay for president.
I'm telling you, man, I think it'd be great I would think it would be fucking phenomenal. As much as I don't like her policy positions on a lot of cases, I think it would be fucking great if Jo Jorgensen actually made a run as a legitimate contender for the presidency of the United States. I think it'd be fucking great.
If I'm voted president of the United States, you get to be my Secretary of Defense. And my wife will be First Lady.
Well, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to go. Anything you want to say real quick before we cut out?
You advertise our karaoke website every week, and we are still closed for business due to coronavirus. I'll probably put an update on there in the next week or so to find out where we're at and where we're going.
Something funny I think about coronavirus is we're supposed to be in phase 5 of reopening, which means everything running full capacity like it's supposed to, yet we're still in masks and nobody's allowed to actually do what they're supposed to do. So, fuck you. And, Mayor Hogshead is a douche, and I actually liked him until this all started. Governor Holcomb, you're a cockface bastard too. We both turned into a bunch of fucking pansies. So with that, we are going to go ahead and say goodbye for the week. Head over to aztecmultimedia.com and see what is going on over there. Check out the companion blog and all the other things we have up. Head over to our Facebook page. That's Kitchen Conversation with Bubba Jay and Crash. Head over to our Twitter at podcast_kitchen. You can also find us on Tumblr. I think is that a Tumblr for us? I don't know. I got it. We're all over the fucking place on social media. Find us, interact with us. Follow me at Crashdown321 on Facebook, Instagram, and Minds. CRA5HD0WN321 and at CrashT, CRA5HD on Twitter. You can also find me on the website. Bubba Jay's got a profile we need to finish building on the website, and with his contact information, go ahead and head over to his Facebook page, Good Time Karaoke with Gloria and Jerry. Give that a like. It will be able to keep you updated on what they have coming up and what they have planned with their
when we get back
karaoke show, when they get back to business. But until next time, we are just two dudes sitting in the kitchen, bitch, and sit in your kitchen, start bitch, and have some good conversation.
This is Bubba J.
This is Crashdown.
Have another beer.